Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is South Carolina from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. South Carolina. Freemasonry was introduced into South Carolina by the organization of Solomon's Lodge in the city of Charleston on October 28, 1736. The warrant for which had been granted in the previous year by Lord Weymouth, Grand Master of England. John Hamilton was, in 1736, appointed Provincial Grand Master by the Earl of Loudon. In 1738, a lodge was established in Charleston by the St. John's Grand Lodge of Boston. But it does not appear to have long existed. The Provincial Lodge appears after some time to have suspended, for a second Provincial Grand Lodge was established by the deputation of the Marquis of Carnarvon to Chief Justice Lee in 1754. In 1777, this body assumed independence and became the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons, Barnard Elliott being the first Grand Master. As early as 1783, the Athol, or Ancient Masons, invaded the jurisdiction of South Carolina, and in 1787, there being then 5 lodges of the Ancients in the state, they held a convention, and on the 24th of March organized the Grand Lodge of Ancient York Masons. Between the modern and the ancient Grand Lodge, there was always a very hostile feeling until the year 1808, when a union was effected, which was, however, but temporary, for a disruption took place in the following year. However, the union was permanently established in 1817, when the 2 Grand Lodges were merged into one, under the name of the Grand Lodge of Ancient Freemasons, the Grand Royal Arch. Chapter was organized on May 29, 1812. The Grand Council of Royal and Select Masters was established February 1860 by 8 councils who had received their charters under the authority of the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite. The Grand Encampment of Knights Templars was instituted in 1826 by 3 subordinate encampments, but it enjoyed only an ephemeral existence and is not heard of after the year 1830. There is now but one commandery in the state, which derives its warrant from the Grand Encampment of the United States, the date of which is May 17, 1843. The Supreme Council of the Ancient and Accepted Rite was opened on May 31, 1801. This body is now recognized as the Mother Council of the World. Solomon's Lodge was warranted in 1735 by the Grand Master of England and organized at Charleston on October 28 the following year. John Hamilton was appointed Provincial Grand Master by the Earl of Loudon in 1736, but no further facts about the establishment of a Grand Lodge are available until there appeared a notice in the South Carolina Gazette of January 1, 1754, of the formation of a Provincial Grand Lodge on December 27, 1753. On March 30, 1754, a deputation was signed in London and given to Chief Justice Lee by the Marquis of Carnarvon, which resulted in the reorganization of the Provincial Grand Lodge. According to Dr. Mackey, this Grand Lodge became independent in 1777, and Barnard Elliott was the first Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons. The Athol, or Ancient Freemasons, appeared in the state as early as 1783, and in 1787 there were 5 lodges of the Ancients in existence. On March 24th of that year, they held a meeting and organized the Grand Lodge of Ancient York Masons. In 1808, a temporary union between the 2 Grand Lodges took place, but not until 1817 were they united under the name Grand Lodge of Ancient Freemasons. On February 1st, 1803, the Grand Chapter of New York granted a warrant to Carolina, chapter at Charleston. The Grand Chapter for South Carolina was instituted May 29, 1812, and was represented at the convocations of the General Grand Chapter held in 1826, 1829, 1844, and 1859. The Grand Chapter has always paid allegiance to the General Grand Chapter and has firmly resisted any suggestion that it should be independent. 9 councils of royal and select Masons were established by charters from the Supreme Council of the Southern Jurisdiction, ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, during the years 1858 to 1859. In 1860, the Supreme Council relinquished its authority and a Grand Council was constituted on February 15. In 1880, the degrees reverted to the Supreme Council, but in 1881, the Grand Council was reorganized and duly became a constituent of the General Grand Council. A certificate of membership still in existence, dated March 3, 1782, proves that South Carolina Commandery No. 1 of Charleston was constituted at an early date. The first warrant was destroyed by fire in 1843, and the encampment petitioned for renewed authority. A dispensation was therefore issued by the Grand Encampment on May 17, 1843. South Carolina No. 1, Columbia No. 2, and Lafayette No. 3 formed a Grand Encampment in 1826, which was represented the same year in the General Grand Encampment. In 1830, Templarism had died down to such an extent that for over 11 years no work was done. It revived in 1841, but owing to the Civil War relapsed again until December 1865, when Sir Albert G. Mackey became eminent commander. Encampments at Columbia, Georgetown, and Beaufort had disappeared for the time being, but after a time enthusiasm awakened, and on March 25, 1907, representatives of South Carolina No. 1, Columbia No. 2, Spartanburg No. 3, and Greenville No. 4 met and instituted the Grand Commandery of South Carolina according to a warrant issued on March 15, 1907. In the city of Charleston, Delta Lodge of Perfection No. 1 was granted a charter by the Supreme Council, Southern Jurisdiction, ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, March 23, 1868. Buist Chapter of Rose Croix on May 10, 1871. Bethlehem Council of Kadosh on February 20, 1907, and Dalcho Consistory No. 1 on June 9, 1911. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.